I'm Markette Sheppard, author of My Rainy Day Rocket Ship, and you are watching So Booking Cool.
Welcome to So Booking Cool. It's Jewel B. Today's guest is an Emmy Award-winning TV host, best-selling children's book author, and marketing executive and founder of Glowstream TV. Her new book is My Rainy Day Rocket Ship, illustrated by Charlie Palmer. Publishers Weekly said of the book, Sheppard's emphasis is on making do with what's at hand. Creative play that is nurtured by supportive parents. And Kirkus Reviews said, rhythmic storytelling and gorgeous illustrations make this a delight. She is back with us for a second time. She is Markette Sheppard. Oh,
Thanks
hello.
for having me.
Listen, it is such a pleasure and a treat to speak with you again, Markette. And I want to know, how are you holding up in this new reality?
Well, it's definitely challenging for me. I'm a full-time executive. I write children's stories. I am homeschooling for the first time in my life, just along with every other parent out there. And it's a lot being thrown on me as a working mother all at once. And it can be overwhelming, but I really try to look on the bright side of things, stay positive, because if you focus too much on what's wrong, right, it'll just overwhelm you. And the reality is, while I'm at home, I have food, I have a peaceful, loving home, I'm healthy. No one directly connected to me has been infected with the coronavirus. So while there's lots of things that are wrong in this world, I have just as many things to look at that are going right. So I'm trying to just stay in a place of sincere appreciation for being incubated and protected in my home from all of this craziness that's going on in this outside world. The coronavirus is craziness as far as I'm concerned. It's just something that I don't think anybody could see coming in their lifetime unless they had some extra info out there.
Yeah, that is so powerful what you just said, Markette. This is such a crazy time. How do you think other authors perhaps as well might be dealing with this new age? What
Well,
advice
there's
would you
a
give? Hmm.
there's a famous saying, I forgot who said it, but this is the time when artists get to work, right? I forgot who said it, but it's somebody famous, a famous writer perhaps. This is exactly the time when artists and creative writers and amazing illustrators and storytellers, when we need to get to work. Telling our stories, especially in diverse communities, telling our own stories, it helps with the coping process. We're all grieving the loss of the freedom to go anywhere you want, to go to your favorite restaurant, to walk, just taking for granted the fact that you can go out and take a walk into any store you want to go in just because you're bored. Or I'm thinking I'm going to go to my favorite restaurant, and you can just pop in and go there. Or, you know what I mean? So I just think we need to get to work, tell the stories of this time. This is an important time in our history. And whether you're a children's book author like me, or you're writing for young adults or adults, fiction or nonfiction, tell the story from your perspective. Maybe a lot of people can relate and they won't feel alone. Or like me, I like to tell imaginative stories. Maybe it will give them some ideas to help them rise above all of this, COVID-19 drama.
Oh, wow, I love that. I love that. And speaking of stories in children's book, how would you say that you have grown since your best-selling debut, What is Light?
Oh, wow. Well, you know what? It was just such a joy to write What is Light. I started writing in lyrical text when What is Light came out. I've grown as an author by writing more character-driven stories. In My Rainy Day Rocket Ship, it's very much focused on one little boy and his day stuck at home with nothing to do but create. And he does a lot of low-tech imagination, using things around his house to create a whole new world in a different place. And so I'm excited for kids, especially now, because I wrote this story a few years ago, and it's coming out at a time when, you know what? We are at home. You can play any video game you want, and a kid is going to get bored with it. But what can you do with all the toys and the things you have around your house to make your own fun? That's what this story is about. I have another book coming out in 2021 where I develop my character even more. There's a central character, a sibling, a parent in there, and they also create and use their imagination to make the best out of a tough situation. That's all I can say about that. But I feel like I'm growing as a writer in that I'm actually growing my characters into people who you feel like you know or you can become.
Oh, wow. So first of all, congratulations on the third book that will be coming out in 2021. That is exciting.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. And so, yeah, tell us about character-driven stories.
Well, I really wanted to create stories where people could relate to the character. In my first book, What is Light, I wanted people to relate to the theme. I was very intentional about writing a book that let people know at any stage in their life, they have a light inside of them. Let's spark the light. And with My Rainy Day Rocket Ship, I wanted to be intentional about this character, this single character, making his own fun and letting people know I could be this boy in the book. Like he takes his mom's dish rag and uses it as part of his space exploration, toolkit. And everybody in every house has a dish rag, you know what I mean? And then he's like, okay, I need a spacesuit. So he's getting goggles, and he's getting swimming trunks. And these are things that people have. And it's all about using what you have right now at your fingertips to escape the reality. And when you escape the reality, you forget about your problems. You start to have fun. You start to imagine and push beyond the realms of reality. And why space exploration has always spoken to me, it's because, no one knew when Kennedy made that famous speech, President Kennedy, and he said, we're going to put a man on the moon. They did not know how they were going to do that. Everybody was like, what? Okay, the president said it. JFK said it. Now we're going to figure it out. And when I listen to leaders, very strong leaders, forward-thinking leaders, they always start at the end of their goal with how they're going to accomplish it. They never start at the beginning. And so JFK said, we're going to put a man on the moon. That was the end goal. And everybody worked backwards from there. And so that's why I love this story, My Rainy Day Rocket Ship, because the little boy says, okay, I'm going to go to a different place far away in outer space. And then that's when the imagination ensues. He sets his goal, and then he's like, okay, now let me get some tools, and let me get mom and dad to help me. And it becomes this fun activity. He even has a little pug, thanks to Charlie Palmer, my illustrator. He even has the family dog in on this adventure. And by the end of the adventure, nobody's thinking about it's raining outside and he's stuck at home. No, we're thinking, ooh, what planet did he land on? Ooh, that was really interesting what he used to jet him off into his new planet. And the fact that it's a horrible rainy day and he's stuck inside and all of his friends are in their houses and no one's around, that's irrelevant, right? Because we made our own fun.
My Rainy Day Rocket Ship, it just sounds like a great book for a child to have at any point, but especially now it seems very, very timely with this stay-at-home, like, new order reality that we're going through. I want to know, do you feel like children in today's society have kind of gotten away from just being a little bit more imaginative and creative, like where technology seems to be dominant?
Oh my goodness, yes. And I'm in this parenting group on Facebook, parenting through COVID-19, and all of the moms are posting in there. My 5-year-old, all he wants to do is play video games, or my 7-year-old won't do homework because they want to watch TV. And I get it. I grew up a child loving TV. I remember when Nintendo came out and Super Mario Brothers, we got that game. And me and my older sister, I remember being very young, like under 13, and pulling all-nighters so that I could save the princess in the castle. So I can relate. But as a mother, I take my job very seriously now. I tell my son I'm his life teacher, and at school, that's his academic teacher. But now that separation has disappeared. I'm his life teacher and his academic teacher. And what I have been talking to moms about in my Facebook group was buckle down. Your kid can only play that video game if you pay for it, if you put in your code and you let them go hours on end. Get the work done. Give technology its place, but allow that space, that precious space for a young developing mind to create on his own with his hands and his eyes and his thoughts, or her hands, her eyes, her thoughts. I think that's so important because I grew up doing that, playing in the backyard all day, playing stickball in my backyard. We made a baseball field, and we got pots and pans to mark the bases. Like it was amazing. I don't know. Maybe some of my neighborhood friends grew up to be engineers, or I don't know, because of what we created playing all day in the fun. And the one good thing that has come out of this pandemic, if your family wasn't affected, is that I see kids running around their backyards in my neighborhood. I can see into everybody's backyards. There's these little square grids. They're playing, they're climbing trees, they're swinging on little swings and things like that, and they're getting outside more. But we as parents need to be pushing kids to take a break, take a technology break. Build something, make something. Run through the grass, plant a garden. Go somewhere else than just deep down in this game to slay the dragon. There's plenty of time for that, and technology is only going to increase with all these Zoom and video conferencing meetings. But we've got a planet to protect too, and the only way we're going to be conscious of the planet is to get closer to it. So that's what I'm also loving about this time. We're thinking about the planet. The smog is decreasing. People are thinking about, how can I get a rooftop or garden going or something, and kids can be a part of that. And I'm definitely doing my part. My son plays his video games. He has little bursts, but then it's like, okay, let's do a worksheet. Let's do homework out on the lawn. Let's take a break and do some painting. We're doing it all. But part of that is going to be get a book, read it, see what characters are doing. Who are your favorite characters? What are your favorite parts? What are your favorite themes? And connect with your child on that imaginative level.
Absolutely. I hear that. So your son, I know that he inspired What Is Light. Has he also inspired my rainy day rocket ship?
Absolutely. He's my muse. One day he's going to send me a bill because I'm getting all of these great ideas out of him. One thing I would like to say is that there is a study that shows that there are more books written about talking animals or personified animals than children of color. And when I say children of color, I mean Native American, Hispanic, Asian, and African American. If you group all of those books together with books written about Caucasian characters and talking animals, there are more books with Caucasian heroes and main characters and talking bears than there are about people who just look like your neighbor or the people in your school and in your community who are of color. So when I started reading children's books to my son, I did not see him represented in stories. And I thought, you know what? Instead of thinking, why don't they, how people always say, Why don't they make a book for us? There is no they. Okay, that's what I realized. I have to be that person to do that. So I decided, you know what? I don't want to read a book about the civil rights movement, right? To my toddler, okay? Because those books are out there. It's scary and it's sad, and there's a time and a place for that in a child's learning. I want to read a story about a little brown child who is having fun and playing and living and breathing and being creative, because that is our day-to-day reality, more than it is reading a book about what happened in Selma, Alabama. Again, very important, or in the Jim Crow South, very important. But when you're writing little kids picture books about that kind of stuff, it's daunting. And it's not setting a tone that kids are just allowed to be their human selves. You know what I mean? So I decided I'm going to write about children doing everyday things, things that make them happy, things that encourage them to grow and excel. And oh, they just happen to be children of color. Not, I'm going to write this book about people of color, and now all of a sudden it's an African American or, book. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to these kids, because they deserve more.
And how have parents in schools, how have they been responding so far to the fact that you're a part of the representation of children of color when it comes to children's publishing?
I was so surprised. I started out with this mission. I'm going to represent children of color in an authentic way. Children of color eat, play, laugh, go to the playground, pretend to be astronauts and ninjas, just like any other child out there. What I was surprised is when I was going to book signings for my first book and getting out in the public, there were so many Caucasian people coming up to me, asking me to sign their books, write their books, and telling me I wanted to see that too. I wanted to show my kids that their friends at school who are of different ethnicities and diverse backgrounds, they're just like us too. And so what I didn't expect was that I was uniting people on a level that I couldn't imagine. I was doing this for children of color, and then European and Caucasian parents were saying, thank you, because I don't want to read that heavy civil rights slave book to my toddler either. You know what I mean? It's like, it's too much. You know what I mean? And so that's why I'm starting with the very youngest readers and listeners in our society. I'm lifting them up. And what my Caucasian readers have told me is that I'm able to bridge a gap for them that they weren't able to find on the bookshelves either. And again, I just want to say, learning about our history and all of our history is very important. But when you're reading to toddlers, all they need is to know that they are safe and secure, and that they can grow and bud just like any other flower in the forest.
That is fantastic. You're reaching like different people, making a mark. That is wonderful as well.
And I just want to say this too. I was so touched. A mother in Saudi Arabia texted me a picture of her son, and this is on my social media, so you have to check it out, or I'll send it to you too. But follow me at Markette Sheppard on Instagram, at Markette Shep at Twitter, and I post little updates when people send pictures of me and their kids with my book. But a mother in Saudi Arabia texted me a picture, emailed me a picture of her son falling asleep with my book, because in Saudi Arabia, they see the little brown faces in my book as being little Saudi kids. And I visited a library in Mexico, and they see the little brown faces in my book as being little Mexican kids. And then when I read it to my son, he looks at the little brown faces, and there's a little boy holding a lantern in my first book, and he's like, oh, that's me. And so all these little kids all over the world are seeing themselves in these little brown faces, because when you get to the Middle East and you get to Africa and Latin America and Asia, they're all brown. So they're not
Mm-hmm.
seeing this is an African American book. They're saying this is a book that's representative of the people who look like me in my country and on my continent.
Wow. So do you think to contribute to representation of Black and brown children in books that people should want to become authors, or should they do it also because I just want to see more of this be represented, you know?
Yeah, I think as long as your driving force is something positive, you're good. You're going to be just fine. When I started writing, I decided, oh my gosh, I want to tell my son all of these things about life and everything that he should know. And I just want to put it in a book that he could reference. And I was thinking, if he goes away to college one day and he needs to reach me and I'm not there, he'll have this book that'll tell him some advice. But where I started was light, because everyone has a light inside of them. Everyone has a spark inside of them, and whatever you want to interpret that as, don't let go of it. Don't wake up 3 days later, somebody's telling you you're something that you're not, and then you have to rediscover the light inside of you. So I started with a goal of telling my son, you have value in this world. You change the world just by being in it. And whatever light you have to share, stay close to that. Stay close to your purpose. And that's just really my goal, because I didn't see a connection when I was reading books about talking bears and book after book after book about a little blonde boy conquering the world. I didn't feel that connection, that because this talking bear conquered his battle, I have a light inside of me. So there's a teddy bear in my rainy day rocket ship, but he's holding it. And the characters are people, and they're people that you have seen in this world and you can relate to.
What advice do you give to aspiring children's books authors?
Well, yeah, a byproduct of writing children's books is you get a lot of people who reach out to you. They want you to review their work. They want to know, how did you do it? And the most encouraging advice that I can give is, you can do it. Because I didn't have any children's book writing experience. I was working in TV as a TV host and a TV personality. But when you go to the publishing world with no books, you're a newbie. You're starting from scratch. So if I could start from scratch and get my book published by great editors in Denene Millner, my editor, Simon and Schuster, the publishing house, you can do it too. Everybody just needs to work on their craft, develop your craft. Writers write, so really take your writing seriously. Love the process, and you can do it.
Yes, here for that, Markette. What do you want your returning readers and fans to know about you as an author and as a person?
What do I want my returning readers to know and fans? Know that you're going to be surprised. You're going to be delighted. Some of my little readers, when What Is Light came out 2 years ago, you were having your parents read it to you. But I want to see growth in my little readers. I want you to try to read my Rainy Day Rocket Ship to your parents and read it with excitement. Something new and interesting is going to happen. So open the book after you have your breakfast and read those words on those richly colored pages with enthusiasm. Talk about what's going on in the pictures. Talk about what you would do if you were the little boy stuck in the house on a rainy day. What would you use if your mother says, I'm not going to let you take my dish rag? Don't let that stop you. What are you going to do, kids? I want the kids to become a part of the story. My pie in the sky dream is that kids will start sending me pictures of their rainy day rocket ships. I have all the pictures of the kids who, with the book, who are dressing up as ballerinas, because the last page in What Is Light is a ballerina, and the kid in Saudi Arabia clenching the book because he sees himself in it. Now let me see you build your rainy day rocket ship. That would just, I think, truly delight me and fill my heart in a way that would really touch me.
And on that note, oh my gosh, Markette Sheppard, everyone. Markette, thank you.
So fucking cool. I love this podcast.
Thank you. We love you here too. Like it's always great to talk to you, Markette. You know, everyone, you guys have to check out What is Light, My Rainy Day Rocket Ship, which illustrated by Charlie Palmer, which is coming to us in May. Is that right?
That's right. May 5th, the book is going to be shipped from Amazon, Target, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, your independent booksellers. What I'm going to tell people now is pre-order the book today, right? Order that book and then go about your life. And then the first week of May, it's going to come on your doorstep. And you're going to be like, oh, my rainy day rocket ship. It's going to be like something new, like a little present on your doorstep. Because we don't know where we're going to be in May. But I guarantee you, you're going to need some new reading material. So pre-order the book wherever books are sold and get ready for a delightful surprise.
Yes, a delightful, delightful surprise. Oh, this is so exciting. May 5th, May 5th.
I'm so excited. Yeah, but don't wait until May 5th to pre-order because I want it on your doorstep, May 6th.
Yeah, exactly. And pre-ordering will do that. Pre-ordering will definitely do that. And just a quick thing too, because you are working with Denene Millner Books and Simon and Schuster Kids again. So what is it like? What was it like to work together on the second book?
Oh, Denene is so encouraging. I mean, I feel truly blessed. When I was sending out my manuscripts and I didn't have an agent, I didn't have a publishing house, I just kept focused on it will happen with the right person at the right time. Denene Millner is the right person at the right time. It's all love with her. She's a writer who is a publisher and an editor. So she's guiding me through the process. Everything is positive. It's just like the perfect collaboration. I just can't say enough good things about her. Where I am weak, she is strong. You know, so I'm the writer and I just completely swim in that role. She's the editor and the publisher and she soars in that role. And together, like even with Charlie Palmer, he brought this book to life as an illustrator. And together it's like a trifecta of imagination and us all moving towards a purpose. And so, you know, it's just great. It's just amazing. I don't want to be with any other editor or publisher.
Oh wow. Okay, that is fantastic.
When someone treats you right, you're like, why go anywhere else?
Yes. So what are some things that you think authors should look for in a publisher and an editor?
Absolutely. One thing is clarity. You want to work with straight shooters, and also look at your contracts. Read them. Take 2 weeks, take a month before you sign something. If more people did that, the writing community would be stronger. Understand what you're signing up for. You know, don't be so anxious to just get a publishing deal that you rush into something that's not right for you. You know, because I had a couple of conversations with literary agents and different publishing houses. And, you know, I had these things in the back of my mind, like little thoughts like, is this fair? Or, you know, are they putting me on the right path? Am I going in the right direction with this person? And when you have those little doubts, listen to them. I'm so glad it didn't work out with the other people who I had conversations with, because in hindsight, maybe they wouldn't be able to relate to my stories and my characters in a way to set them up for success. So find an editor, a publisher, a literary agent who's right for you. Make sure you take your time and understand what type of relationship you're getting into as far as contracts and negotiations. And move forward confidently in everything you do.
Yes, confidence. Why is that important?
Confidence, yeah. And you know what? I struggle with that too. I'm like, okay, Markette, you can do this. You know, I'm telling people you can do it. I'm also trying to remind myself every time I do something new, it's scary because I've never done it before. And so then that takes a little bit of faith as well. But just please, everybody listening, just know as I'm telling you that, I'm also trying to tell myself that. And we need people in our lives, whether it's a literary agent, a publisher, an editor, a trusted friend in your inner circle. You need people who are going to tell you you can do it, because you alone can break down your thoughts and tell you that you can't. So you don't need anybody on the outside telling you that too.
No, you don't. And I appreciate you like being candid and saying that that's even something that you have to still learn, yourself, But of course
Absolutely. And
you have
maybe,
that light.
well, I'm thinking maybe if I would have had some books with little brown girls going out and being TV hosts and writing books and starting businesses, who knows where I'd be? Maybe I have an office on the moon. But I had to discover my light, and I felt like when I finally did settle on, I have something to offer this world, and nobody can tell me that I'm not worthy. That's when the breakthrough came. But that was after I turned 30. So like right around 33. And then also I want to tell people, and I've had this happen to me in TV. A TV executive said point blank, "You're not good enough." And I was looking at him like, okay, but on the inside, I know who I am. And I thought to myself, I know I'm good enough. I don't have to prove myself to you. I'm out the door and not looking back. And people who can muster up the gall to look somebody in the eye and say, you're not good enough, know that you are dealing with a broken person, and you need to get away from them as fast as you can, because they will bring you down with their words. Their broken view of the world doesn't need to affect you. Who would say that unless they are a hurt person? Hurt people hurt people. But I already told you, you have a light inside of you, right? So just surround yourself with other people who can see their light and who lift people up. And that's what I work to do too. And that's why I had to walk away from that person. And everybody out there listening, walk away from people like that. Continue on your path of light.
Oh wow! First of all, that is so not true, and I'm glad you know that that's not true. Are you kidding?
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of like,
that is.
I was like, I'm glad you picked the right one. You picked the right one because I know who I am. I'm not looking for anybody to tell me who I am. So I'm glad that I was the chosen one, because anybody else who would have been broken by that, they don't need to be around that person. That's how I see it. Thank you for choosing me, somebody who knows himself, to spare somebody who doesn't.
And tell us about Glowstream TV.
So
Yes.
Glowstream TV, yes. So I truly believe in, you don't have to be one thing or one person or one dimensional. So I am a television host, and I decided to start a streaming channel of uplifting messages for women all around the world. And What is Light is my debut book. So Glowstream are for the moms, for the parents out there, so that you can glow through life. You just don't have to go through life. So I have a team of TV hosts from all over the country, from Miami to Virginia, DC. I'm here in DC, of course, and just all over the country, who submit videos. They send messages. I have a lot of coronavirus videos on there, and it's all about inspiring, motivating, informing, and enlightening. So this is where you go when you need a quick burst of direction, just to get you through the rest of the day. So the latest video up there is about how we made the best of Easter weekend by having an Easter egg hunt in my backyard. But I have a lady in Atlanta, she does Fearless Friday. Whatever's scaring you in this moment, I have about 5 videos on coronavirus and how you can push past the fear and anxiety and start planning your best life for when the world opens back up. So check out the Fearless Friday. I have Makeup Monday, where I have a makeup artist who works for a global beauty brand. He's like, look, you're in the house all day. Now's the time to perfect that face, right? Get the makeup going so when you go out in the world, you can feel your best by looking your best, you know. So it's just like a fun lifestyle website. You'll see me on there. You'll see a lot of my colleagues who are living their best lives, talking about how you can do the same thing.
Glowstream TV, Glowstream TV, my rainy day rocket ship, What's Light, Markette Sheppard, just doing your thing, killing it.
I love it. Thank you so much for the support. I love what you do, because on your site, I'm able to find so many different books and authors and get to know them. And so I'm using So Booking Cool as a resource for like, okay, I think I need to, you know, find a new book to inspire me. Let me see what Jewel B is doing on So Booking Cool. So I just appreciate you as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Markette. And we will certainly be in touch and would love to speak with you again.
All right. I look forward to it.
Yes. And thank you to all the listeners. Until next time, So Booking Cool.